So I wonder, ladies, if you are living in the moment. And why I ask is because actually my husband asked something simple. He goes, when you're driving, are you always thinking about where you're going to go next? And I go, no, when I'm driving, I'm looking at everything around me and looking at the changes and really taking it in. And he goes, really? I go, yeah. And he said, I'm really trying hard to do that because I feel like I'm not living in the moment. And it's not about driving, it's about in everything that I'm here, but I'm want to get to the next place. And I don't know when that happened to me because I don't know if I've been like this all my life, but I enjoy being where I am at the moment. And I'm quite observant. And I think that's part of it is that because I'm seeing all the different things in the moment, that it helps me stay in the moment. What do you guys think? Do you live in the moment? You're always looking, are you looking behind you? Are you thinking about what you should have done? Oh, I should have done that? Or are you thinking what I'm going to do? Or are you sitting here right now in this moment enjoying us? And
If
I'm
you
sorry, why
ask,
I asked that because I just never thought too much about it because I just
right,
sit in it.
if you asked the old Michelle, I'll go back maybe even 5 years, I was always in the past or always looking in the future, never where I am. Now I make an effort to be present. I'm going to say 75% of the time. And why I mean that is, um, I'll take something as ridiculous as the move. We just moved yet again after a year of moving. And I looked in the future because I could not wait for the move to be over. So there was no in the present at that moment. No, I was just getting everything done to get ahead. But I think it depends on what I'm doing. But I love your analogy, Tracy G, about driving because I do my drivings between Florida. I drive between Florida and Wisconsin. I drive up there and I drive back. And last year, I literally drove from Florida to Vermont and from Vermont to Connecticut, and then from Connecticut back to Vermont, and from Vermont to Wisconsin. And there would be times I got to places and I'd be like, how did I get here? Because my mind would just go off that things there's part of the trip that I know so well now. It's just so routine that you forget, and my mind was just traveling a lot. But there were times where I was very present because I love looking at scenery. I love sunsets. I love sunrises. I love changing colors. I love to see rolling hills. I love the mountains. I love the snow-capped mountains. I love all of that. So I think it depends on what's happening for me to say whether I'm present or not. I don't know, Tracy E.
I'm definitely a past, present, future kind of gal. I hang out in all of those spaces. I don't I try not to dwell in the past because then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, you're digging up stuff you don't want to dig up. But I try not to dwell in the past. I'll think about things that have happened in the past and um, see what's available, see what comes up and what's available in that moment of that thought. But yeah, I'm pretty much I can understand what your husband's saying, and um, I would rather use a cooking analogy for not being in the moment and just being slightly ahead of that than the driving experience. Because the driving experience for me is typically I need to know what's coming up because otherwise I will get lost.
Okay.
So I need to know where am I? What's ahead instead of, oh, look at what's around me.
Okay.
Unless I'm the passenger, in which case I don't care. And yes, I can enjoy the present in the moment. But it's like when I'm cooking a recipe, I'm constantly one step ahead in order to
Mhm.
identify what ingredient do I need to add next? What's the next step? What do I do now? What do I do next? What do I do next? I've already done this. What do I do next? And there's that ever so slight couple of seconds where you're not in the moment, you are living for what is next. And I find that I do that an awful lot.
Hmm. So I'm not, and also when I'm talking about looking in the future, I'm not talking about goal setting and what you want to achieve
Oh
and all
yeah, no,
that.
no, no,
Yeah.
neither am I.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just talking
neither am
about
I.
moment. So when you're with your grandson,
Yeah.
are you not completely in that moment with him at that time?
Um, yes, but there is a part of me that is also um looking at behaviors and things that I now know what to watch for because we're getting bored with this activity and we want to move on. So I'm looking for those clues.
So when you
And
say, but that's it, that's being in the moment then. Is that
yeah,
not being in the moment? You're
yes,
not just
you
sitting there
are.
playing and oblivious
Right.
to the signs and that. So wouldn't that be in the moment?
I
no,
Like
to
you're
think it is in
actually
the moment.
to
Yes.
me, being in the moment is to be, and I am like there. That's why I say I'm all three because I can be playing with Avery and just be completely engrossed in whatever it is that we're doing. We're building a castle with blocks, and I'm completely engrossed in that activity. We're having fun. I'm watching him decide what's going to go on top of this and what, and watch him build and figure out all of that stuff without thinking of anything else. But a lot of times I'm also thinking, you know, Aves is doing this, but he's going to smash this down in 2 seconds. He's going to want to move on to something else, which is not being in the moment.
So
okay.
you're thinking, what is going to be his next? How am I going
Yeah,
to entertain
what's
him
like, and
next?
I
I
mean,
see.
I always let Avery direct that, direct that flow, right? It's like he's in the driver's seat and he's the one that's going to pick and choose what it is that we do because he has great ideas and games that he comes up with. Um,
But
Yes, there are times where I'm like completely engrossed in whatever it is that we're doing, and there's times where I am thinking, what do we, what's going to be next that we're going to do?
I don't think when you're with Avery, you're only half present with him because the other half of you is thinking about your grocery list and
Hmm.
what time dinner is and
Oh yeah, no,
so you're missing like when he
no.
does a small gift. That's what I mean. I think I still agree with Tracy G that you're still present with
You're
him.
immersed
You're
in
you're you're
you.
immersed, even though you're watching his behavior and you're ready for the next move and you're ready to flow with him. You're still you're still with him. It's not like your phone is over here, you're looking at it and you're like, that's good, Avery. Yep, that's that
Oh yeah,
calendar.
definitely not.
That's
Definitely
it.
not. No.
That's you are present
Yeah,
with
phones
it.
phones are down. When Avery's around,
Yeah.
phones go away. We don't,
Yeah.
that's no phone play.
Right.
No,
But
yeah.
that's what I mean. That's what I meant. So yeah.
And yeah, and do you spend like a lot of time being like that in the moment? For example, we go to a lot of concerts, and when I go to a concert, I totally enjoy it. But I can tell when I'm out of the moment because I'm like, how many more songs? Like I'm ready to
Yeah.
go because I've detached myself and I'm no longer in the moment. And so that's what I
Yep.
mean about like
Okay.
because you're immersed
Yep.
with him
Yep.
regardless of what you're doing, your focus is on him. You're enjoying or not enjoying, depending on what he's doing, what's going
Right.
on.
Right. Right.
Yes. Okay. Then in that analogy, then yes, I live in the present.
And with your
Yeah.
clients, you are in the moment.
Oh yeah, totally, totally immersed.
So,
Yeah, I don't sit there and go, "Oh my God, when is this call going to be over?"
so do you both think the majority of time, even though you said past and future, you live like if you looked at
Yes,
your
I
day
would
to
have to agree
day,
with that. Yeah,
do you
Yeah.
live most of the time
yeah,
in the moment?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Remember I said old Michelle didn't because and I promised myself if I ever was looking too much into the future and not being where I wanted to be in the present right now, I would move on. And I don't have that feeling. Like if I would, because to me, if I'm always look like I was always trying to get to the next place because I wasn't happy where I was.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So I was always like trying to get over there. And when I got there, I still wasn't happy. So that's when we had to do all this work. So even though my days have ebbs and flows and stress and everything and moods and movers showing up and not showing up and, all of these things, I still live in the present. There's times I want the present over with because I'm like, it's not a good day, but I live more in the present now than to look in the future. And I can't wait like, I always hate that saying, oh, I can't wait for the weekend.
Mm.
Do you hate your life that much? Like, so yeah.
Maybe there's two things here. Maybe there's being able to live in the moment. Um, and then there are those moments where we are thinking about what it is we are going to do next. Like I need to get to this next stage, this next thing. And a question of being in the moment and simply being distracted.
Hmm.
Like your analogy with the phone.
Hmm.
I'm playing with Avery, not really playing with Avery. I'm actually over here
Right.
doing something else. I'm trying to do two things at one time. Or you're at the concert going, how many more songs are they going to sing? Like, I got to get going here.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's two different things here. There's distraction and moving forward with the next thing, if that makes sense.
Well, I remember, and I think now I know where I got it from. When I was a bit of a rebel when I was a teenager, I won't deny,
No,
and I
no,
snuck
no
out.
way.
Woo-hoo, woo-hoo. And I could not enjoy myself because I was so concerned about if I got caught. So my whole time being snuck out, I'm all worried about getting caught. Where my other friends were like, "You're out now.
Might as well have fun.
Enjoy while enjoy the moment now." And I took that. I do believe that's where it started, where I took, not that I kept sneaking out. I never snuck out after that because I was obviously not, didn't have it in me. But I
Right.
realized if you're going to do something, start enjoy what you're doing at that time. Because I remember it was very I was so stressed out. And I think I
Yeah.
had some underlying lesson there that helped me out about staying in the moment.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think that moment was also trying to teach you something else about your values and who you were as a person. You just did, we just don't we don't recognize that at the time that
No.
this doesn't internally feel good to me to be sneaking out of my house and lying to my parents this way. This doesn't feel good. This isn't the Tracy that I really am. That's why it
I,
felt bad. It
I don't think she I
wasn't
don't
about
think
me
she's
I
getting
going
learned
caught
a
for
and
that.
different
being in
lesson then.
trouble. Huh? What?
I learned a different lesson then because I went, I cannot do something that I do not well, maybe that's my value too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I learned, I got two lessons out of it. I got a
Yeah.
Yep.
bonus lesson.
Yeah, it's like I can't do that. I mean, you wouldn't have consciously thought that as a teen. You would have been like, "Oh God, I can't do this. This is way too stressful because I'm too worried about getting caught and being in trouble."
Yep.
But really, there was a much bigger lesson in trying to understand that. But
Yeah.
again, this goes back to so many times we've talked about this that our kids, well, certainly we weren't taught any of that stuff growing up, learning about values and learning about all, your truths in life and all of
Mhm.
that. Like nobody ever said that ever,
Ever
ever.
said it out loud, ever acknowledged it. Maybe you were
No.
learning it, but you didn't know you were learning it.
You had to learn it on
No.
your own or read a book or try to figure it out. I mean, no one ever sat me down and talked about values ever. Like, I don't ever recall that. I mean, I know my dad intrinsically, we had some amazing conversations that were about values, but it wasn't called that. I didn't know that that's what that was. I think I
No.
kind of internalized it that way, but it wasn't like an obvious, let's talk about values, hon. This is what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. It was never paraphrase like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's so many opportunities now that, you know, where we can give kids that ability to be able to reflect in a different way. You know, it's not just about, you know, you being so stressed out isn't really about just being caught and having to face those consequences. Because it didn't bother the other kids like that. And what were your parents going to
No,
do?
not at
Tell
all.
you
Not,
off?
it
That's
didn't
it.
bother them at all. They were just
Yeah.
like, get over it, Tracy.
Yeah, exactly. And what would your parent and if you'd have reflected on it, what would your parents have done? Grounded you maybe, you know, told you they were disappointed. I don't know, whatever they would have done.
Right.
Like that was the
Right,
worst
right.
thing.
Like, yeah, I didn't grow, like, I wouldn't have been, harmed or something like, yeah,
Right.
like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
would
Right.
have, yeah, I would have seen the disappointment in their
Yep.
eyes.
Right there. Right there. That's it right there. Is
Yep.
there
Yeah,
anything worse than
yeah,
wanting to disappoint somebody? For some people, they don't give a shit. Other
yeah.
people, it's like, you know what? That really matters to me.
Right.
I don't want to disappoint somebody. So,
Yep.
you know, I mean, that's an experience that I personally don't want to have.
Mm.
And I hate it when I have had an experience like that. So, yeah, it's not
And I
worth it.
wouldn't have wanted to live in that moment.
Exactly. You
No.
wouldn't want to
With my
live in that
parents. I
moment.
would have been
That's
thinking of
right.
something else.
That's
And
right.
just so you know, Tracy G, the one time I skipped school, I got caught too.
Oh God,
I didn't
I
get
skipped
caught.
school
I never got
constantly. I was
caught.
barely there.
It was
Oh, I
just,
got caught.
So were you sneaking out of the house or sneaking away from school?
who?
You.
You.
Oh, no, I was sneaking out of the house. I was sneaking out of
Ooh.
the house.
Like
Mm.
out of the
I
top,
was
out of
going
like a
out
top roof.
after I was supposed to be home.
So were you like
Whoa.
going out of a fire escape or something?
No, I like the house was quiet. I snuck out and met my friends, up the block. And I don't even know what we did. Like it was just like, oh, look at us. We're out after we're supposed to be out.
You went out
And
the
that's what
front
I mean.
door?
Like it wasn't even like, oh, we snuck out to go do something. We snuck out, and the whole time I'm freaking out. I'm
Well,
literally
it was the
freaking
sneaking
out.
out that was the point. But did you walk out the front door?
No, no, I would have walked out the back door. No, no, no. I didn't go, I'm sneaking out now. No, I just remember, like, there's not like I have a really not so great memory, but there's certain things, and I always remember that. I could pull up that feeling of pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so interesting.
Mm.
I
Wow.
I mean, it's not as clandestine as like climbing out of windows or anything like that, you know.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Not that
I
I did
never,
that. I'm not saying I did that. Skip
no,
school constantly. I was
no,
barely there.
I only did it once.
Oh
Got
man,
caught.
I was like, yeah.
You shouldn't go to the park next to the school.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
No,
No, no.
Oh,
no.
Michelle.
I know.
That's so funny.
Ah, wasn't meant to be. So, viewer, do you live in the moment? Are you always in the past? Are you in the future? Let us know. Put it down in the comments. Remember, if you feel this episode will help somebody, make sure you share it. If you like the episode, give us that like. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to our channel. And if you want to know when our next episode is, make sure you hit notifications. Until next time.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.